If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide. Hello. Welcome back to the Singer's Path podcast. It's me, your host, Sarah Bishop, and I'm so excited to share with you this slightly different version of a podcast today. This podcast is actually a repost from my friend's podcast, Lara Chapman of Vox Tape Studios. Her podcast is called From Singer to Artist podcast, and if you guys don't remember, a few episodes ago, I actually had her on my show and interviewed her about her story and her upbringing. And, she was talking about her aspect of kind of focusing more on songwriting and pop artists and doing more vocal production work. And we also did a swap. So then I went on to her show and talked about more of that kind of mental emotional piece that exists with singers and, talking about how this new Inner Circle membership, which you're going to hear a lot about that throughout this episode as well, how that came to be and my background. So I thought it would be really cool to share and swap those podcasts so you guys actually can hear it here. But also, if you like what you're hearing, if you like how you heard Laura's story on her episode a few weeks ago, and you like our dynamic, make sure you go and check out her show as well, From Singer to Artist podcast. So let's get into this interview where Lara is interviewing me about my history and my lead up to being a voice teacher. Here we go.
I have a dear friend of mine, fellow voice teacher, and also actress and performer for musical theater and so forth. Welcome, Sarah Bishop. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh my God, so good. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you. I had you on my podcast not too long ago, so this is great that we get to swap and come on here. I'm excited to be here today.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure. I've been following you on your social media for I don't know how many years, like since you started, I would assume. And I'm always like, singers, repeat after me. Always singing with you. It's so funny. I love it so much. And then I realized I've never actually told you that I love your stuff and never actually reached out, but I was like, yeah, Sarah's my bestie. We're on the same wavelength. Yeah. But we're
tight.
Yeah. It's
we're tight. That parasocial.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you, you know me. I mean, it was pretty cool to see how well we clicked after our first conversation. And I was like, oh yeah, you get it. So yeah, it's definitely cool to connect and have longer form conversations, because even if it's voice teacher to voice teacher or business owner to business owner, that's a whole layer of things that, it's kind of unique, this profession we have.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, a lot of times people are not really willing to talk to other people that are doing the same thing as them because they look at it as competition and they're like, oh, no, I don't want to help this person because they're my competitor, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, but there's more than enough to go around for everybody. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, a lot of my training has been through the Institute of Vocal Advancement, which is IVA, which is basically a training platform for teachers. But it's so heavily based in mentorship and community. So I just feel like I entered the voice teacher space and even the business space being we all have to help each other. This isn't, I think when you're in a place of abundance, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot here as we kind of get into, my world and what I'm kind of moving into with my business. I think that place of abundance and wholeness really lends itself to community and not that competition factor like you talked about. There's actually more than enough to go around, for everybody. And I think what's cool about being a business owner and a teacher is when you show up as yourself fully, like you're going to attract the people that you're meant to help. And, some people in your audience might not be as drawn to me as they are to you. That's why they're in your audience. Right. And then some people in my audience, vice versa. So it's not really a competition. I don't look at it that way. And I think we just need to support each other and do what we are setting out to do, which is to provide service for artists as much as we can. And sometimes that means, connecting with other people.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. But, for anybody who doesn't really know you just yet, who is Sarah? What are you all about?
Who is she? Who is she? Yes, no, my name's Sarah Bishop. Yes, I'm in New York right now. So if you hear this, like, it's a dying whale sound. Hopefully the video editor is going to take it out, or the sound engineer. Thank you so much. But I'm in New York City. So, honking and, emergency sounds, that's why. But yeah, I'm a musical theater actor. I got my degree in musical theater from the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, which is a very famous, large musical theater program. Well, actually, it's quite small. It's not large, but it's well known in that realm. And yeah, so I transitioned into studying voice during COVID, or rather vocal pedagogy, and transitioned into having a voice studio. So that's my job. That's what I do. Yeah.
Do you still perform and audition and do all that stuff too?
Yeah. So this is interesting because I am very much still auditioning quite a lot, which has been interesting while owning the business and teaching. I've had to really reevaluate how I teach in order to serve more people in a way that I'm not like making my glass too empty to contribute to other people. You know what I mean? So I've really had to redesign my teaching business so that I can be more present for a wider scope of people without draining me so much because of auditions. Yeah. And there was one weekend where I got like 6 auditions in 2 days. And I was like,
oh my Lord.
Yeah. Are we allowed to curse on here, by the way? I did not ask
please,
that. Is it okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I was like, well, that's the thing is like, I had a mentor. One of the mentors actually in IVA was like, he tends to be a little bit more rigid in his mentorship of things, but he was like, listen, voice teaching and performing, like those are 2 intense things. Like he was basically like, you can't do both. And I was like, I think I can. I just have to do it different. Right. And there's a whole can of worms that happened where I transitioned more to coursework and less out of the one-on-one lesson model, which is very popular amongst voice teachers, right? And I think that's a common misconception amongst singers is like the only way to study voice is through one-on-one coaching, which like, yes, that's high intensity. Like you're getting a lot of attention, but like there are other ways to do it that are either more cost effective if you're on a budget, but are also like you can learn in other ways like group lessons and that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, there was like a big transition that happened basically last year where I was trying to do it all. I was designing coursework and I was designing pillars and Discover and Advanced Mix and all these like technical courses that I have. And then I got married and I wrote an album for my husband and I was traveling a lot. I taught in Costa Rica and then I taught in Edinburgh and I was like moving all around. But at a certain point when I returned, we got this apartment in New York so that I could like focus on auditioning again, right? Quote unquote. And I was so exhausted. I had like such intense vocal fatigue because then I was still teaching like 6 hours a day, at least, sometimes 8-10 hours a day. Like it was too much, right? And I was like, yeah, so I see how there's like kind of a choice here as to whether I'm going to save my own instrument or not. And or if I'm going to damage my instrument. And sometimes folks, it's not vocal technique. Often it's not vocal technique that can cause injury. It's overuse. It's just singing and talking too much. So that's where that transition happened so that I had more room for performing. But with that space that was created, I wasn't singing as much or talking as much in lessons and was reserving it so I could do well at my auditions. But you get to sit in the stillness more and things come up that are a little bit more confronting that you might not want to be with while you're not running around crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why most people always take out their phones and distract themselves, right? Doom scroll so they don't have to sit with their own thoughts and be uncomfortable sometimes. Yep. Can relate. I also am guilty of doing that sometimes or most of the time. Whoopsie.
And listen, we all do that. I think that kind of numbing aspect of it's intense. It's intense out here. It's intense in 2025 when we're filming this. Like it's a lot on our systems. And it actually, for me, takes a great deal of practice to be fully present with everything that's kind of going on in my internal world and to allow that to affect my art, which is kind of interesting because this is, something I want to talk about today, is how our ability to hold ourselves through like intense feelings and through the void in a sense. So, I'm auditioning and I put all of my eggs into focusing on this goal and I'm not just busybody anymore and I'm in this stillness. When grief inevitably comes up or when intense feelings or shifting in your life comes up, how do you actually navigate that without having the need to numb? And what is that numbing? Like, what does that really mean? Right? Is it actually just self-abandonment that we can't hold ourselves as we are through the uncomfortable things? So it's kind of a good segue into kind of talking about what I'm moving into here.
Real deep. Like she went from like, to like grief. I'm like, all right, baby, let's get into it.
Like, sorry, y'all. Yeah, no. I mean, listen, I think it's true. And I think a lot of the professional artists, like we bounce back a lot from that. I know it's intense for a lot of people to be like, happy, hey, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then, but that's also very much what it feels like to audition. I know we talked on, when I had you on my podcast, you talked about, dabbling in musical theater and starting there and kind of transitioning into singer-songwriting and in that world. And like, from what you remember, how much did you do a lot of auditioning or did you mostly like not just kind of transition right away?
Yeah, not really in the real world because I also wasn't allowed to because I was an immigrant and I didn't have a work visa, right? So even had I like booked a job, I would not have been able to do it because I was not allowed to work. I only auditioned in the school that I went to, and actually we put on 2 musicals in the 2 years that I was there. And it was just me and one other person out of the whole school that like did the 2-year program that didn't get cast in either of those 2 musicals. And I was like, cool. That's just another confirmation that the musical theater world just isn't for me. But I remember them telling us like, hey, you're going to hear 100 no's before you're going to hear a yes. And you just need to be cool with it. You just need to like keep going. You just have to show up and audition.
Okay, so this is kind of what my work has transitioned into because, as you get older and through my 20s, my quarter life crisis of sorts. You try to take that advice as much as you can. You're like, okay, I'm going to just keep auditioning. I'm just going to keep showing up. No matter what, I'm going to believe in myself. But here's the thing. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I just have to choose that. Yes. Okay. But we all experience, especially if anyone's listening and, they're entering their 30s, most of us by like late 20s, we start to be handed some like reality pie in a sense. Mm-hmm. We're shown that, maybe some things aren't quite working the way we thought they would. Or, maybe we're seeing some patterns that we're like, oh, fuck, I'm the problem. There's some of that happens. And I think it's very natural. And it has to do with our brain development, our prefrontal cortex forming when we're 26, in the spiritual realm, it's the Saturn return of it all. There's many people that talk about that shift into your 30s as being like pretty monumental. And a lot of people experience this kind of like fire burning, everything's fucking burning to the ground at that time.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about that happening for me, I think from basically how my life went, I barely gave you any history on me, but I basically went to a top school. I like auditioned for like I almost got into nearly every school I auditioned for, which was fucking insane. And it was because I was so surrendered. And like, YOLO, let's see. I don't know. This would be great. I was actually practicing a lot of what I'll be teaching in this new thing that I'm going to talk about here soon, in just such a natural, intuitive state. But what happened is like, I went to school, and then somewhere in school, I started to adopt the mentality of like, well, this must mean that success to me means that I have to be on Broadway and I have to be doing this thing. And even though I consciously maybe wasn't aware of that, like I subconsciously was like fully on board. And there was other things going on that were like dictating why and how I was feeling that way. But basically, when the programming became, I have to operate this way, you know, it started to fuck with my ability to have the things that I wanted come into my life. And it really didn't settle in and become an issue that kind of was the catalyst for the quarter life reassessment of all of it, until after I booked a major job coming out of school. So like I was like pretty good. Like I was still kind of in the surrendered flow. And then enough so that I mean, literally as soon as I graduated, I signed with an agent right away, and I pretty much like a month later got immediately cast in the Broadway National Tour of Cabaret. And this was the Sam Mendes production that was the Roundabout. They had just done a revival. So I immediately left to tour the US playing Helga.
Yeah.
And it was perfect for me because like how many fucking blonde 5'8" girls who kick their face and do jump splits and play the trumpet? Not a lot. Right? It's kind of me and maybe a few other people in New York or like America. Okay?
Yeah.
Like there's just not a lot of people. And so that's what I mean. It was like I was really good at attracting the things that were exactly for me and having it line up and flow and surrender to all of it. But really, Cabaret was where it got to a place where the rose-colored glasses started to come off. And I started to, unfortunately, figure out more of the realities of what the job is, right? And I think a lot of graduates that have that, and songwriters and anyone who enters any entertainment business or maybe just gets a real job for the first time, you know, it's like, hey, this is a job at the end of the day, and I can really appreciate it. Yes, two things can be true. I can appreciate it and love being here and be so grateful. And, you know, there's some things that are kind of fucked up about it. And I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared to enter this world of like, oh shit, like the actors and the dancers and the musicians were like the blue collar workers of it all. There was actually, I watched this TikTok and I can't remember the creator's name, but it was brilliant. He's an actor and a producer, and I feel so bad for not knowing his name, but he just made this amazing TikTok about saying like what the reality of being in the Broadway industry is. And he was basically like, it's horse racing. It's horse betting. So like the people at the top, and like I cannot claim that analogy. And if I, for the love of God, if I find the TikTok, I'll try to have to send it to you so you can maybe link him, because I feel so bad quoting this because it was so brilliant. But he basically was like, yeah, Broadway at the top, how it works is the elite producers, the mega wealthy. It's like a hobby. The mega wealthy who own the theaters, who produce the shows, the investors, the lawyers, the accountants at the top. They are the people that sit in the, you know, rafters with their gin and tonic, and they are placing bets. And during the, you know, the Kentucky Derby or the Tony Awards, they all place their bets on what their show is going to win. But the people in the show are the horses and the jockeys. Is that what it's called? Jockey, right? The like riders. Yeah. The horses and the jockeys, those are the creatives. Mm-hmm. And they're going like, hey, you know, this horse is kind of sick. We're like, I don't know about this. Like, this horse, you know, it seems a little bad. Yeah. And they're at the top. They're going, you know, I think it's, you know, that's fine. I like that horse, though. I like that, where that horse came from. I like what that horse looks like. We're going to put that horse on. And the jockey's going like, I don't fucking know about that. Like, this seems to be kind of, you know, injured, or it's not going to work. And then after the Kentucky Derby, you know, that horse, you know, doesn't work. And then they shoot the horse. Okay. Like they close the show, right? Yeah. So that, I know that sounds insane, but that's kind of what it's like. And so there's a lot of dissonance is the purpose of me bringing this up. There's a lot of dissonance that occur within artists when they have elected to put their soul out there and follow their dreams, and they're like the one that went for it, and they're gonna do it, right? And they go out into the world, and then the very grown-up realization happens of like, oh shit, I'm in a horse race. Oh fuck, I'm a horse. Oh fuck, they don't give a shit about me, right? Oh fuck, they're gonna it's sticky because I'm not trying to play into victimhood. I'm not trying to play into even an us against them mindset, is not the point. But what happened to me was, again, the rose-colored glasses of the dream start to come off, and more often than not, this is something that people really don't want to talk about because there's this guilt associated with it. Oh, I had my dream happen. Am I not supposed to just be happy now? This was supposed to solve everything. Wait, why isn't it solving anything? Wait, I still feel lost. Why am I not making enough money to pay my rent? I thought that when I got this big fancy job, I would have enough money. Oh, wait, now you need followings now for me to get my next job? Like, what does that mean? Like, wait, I'm in charge of marketing now for that? Like, what the fuck? Oh my God, wait, you have every other loophole to try to not give us health insurance or try to not pay us more. It just really feels like being the blue collar worker at the bottom of the pole. But at the same time, you're like in the NFL of theater. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's quite a big deal of dissonance. And so where I got really messed up was in my effort, in my resolution of trying to be like, wow, the grief, this is why I talk about grief and why it's so present, of being like, wow, wait, my dream is not what I thought it was. Wait, I can't even go home for a funeral. Mm-hmm. If my sister has a baby, I can't leave. I can't ever, if I was a mother, I can't tuck my kids in it. But and those are the realities of doing the job. But in my desperation of trying to get a hold of that narrative and continue to do my dream, my brain went, well, I must have to be a lead on Broadway now because that means I'll have more leverage. That means I'll have more money. That means no.
Wow.
That's not correct. So my dream started to get kind of distorted. And I was fighting basically what I was casting out into the universe or whatever you want to call it. I need this job because I'm in such a place of desperation. I need this job because I need my life to change. I can't be with myself where I am right now. I'm struggling. I'm a starving artist. I'm making this happen. I need to be someone that succeeded. I can't fail. I can't fail now. I've been putting all this skin in the game. What would that make me if I stopped? But then at the same time, I'm pushing it away because I'm like, I don't even want it. I don't want to be treated like shit. I don't want to be paid less. I don't want to be seen as less than. And if we're really going to dive deep, the real truth of what was going on was I was continuing to sign up for a dynamic that I was repeating over and over again that was just justifying how I already felt about myself, was that I was just never enough. Right? That was actually the narrative and the pattern that was happening. I was electing to continue to engage in a system that would just already justify the narrative, the subconscious programming that I had picked up. And until I became aware of that, until I actually was at a rock fucking bottom, okay? COVID, unemployed, at my parents' house, nowhere to go, fucking dirt poor, no money. Mm-hmm. I get nothing to lose, bitch. I'm nowhere to go.
Yeah.
That I started to have the space again, like I kind of mentioned, to sit with these things and really kind of start piecing the life that I actually wanted to live together. And so that's why I'm now, even though I'm in the thick of it, I don't think that work's ever done. This is what I'm trying to start to make available for artists so that they can discover what's actually for them, so that they can figure out ways to hold themselves through the inevitable psychotic ups and downs of what it means to be an artist. And you don't have to be in theater, right? It can be any kind of artist. I think we all deal with this. And basically a system in which we can truly believe in ourselves to a place of zero fucks to give, right? Because that's ultimately what it takes to continue. And Anyway, that was a long tangent.
No,
but
that was so
kinda
good. And like, I could just so relate to everything you said, because it's literally what happened to me too, just not in the musical theater world, but in the pop world, right? Like, I was signed with a manager and I was writing and recording and releasing my music, but there was just so much shit that happened too. Like, I paid people thousands of dollars and then they disappeared, right? And they were supposed to help me with things, right? And it was just, one person after another just taking advantage of me. And, just, I was like, what the hell? I hate this. This was also the same time I met my husband too. Like, then not husband, now husband, obviously. And my priorities started to shift, right? Like, I was like, no, actually, I want to be with you. And I don't want to be playing every night and every weekend and go on tour and not be at home with you and our cats. And right? Like, my priorities started to shift. And for the longest time, I just couldn't let go of the pop star dream, because that's what I always wanted to do my entire life. And now I was actively pursuing it and saw success with it, but I hated it. I loved the writing of it. I didn't even enjoy the performing anymore, right? But just the writing and the recording. Everything else, I was like, I really don't like this at all. But I felt so like, I owe this to myself to succeed. And I owe this to my parents because they paid for my education, right? And I don't want people to feel like I'm not good enough and I quit and I failed, right? Because I'm not good enough and all of that. So for like a year and a half, I was like still doing it, even though I didn't want to. I was just afraid of
you're just
what
doing
other
it
people.
for the sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. And that to me was my permission to let go of it, because you no longer could perform, right? Or I mean, you would have to like move online. But, that for me was like, okay, let me just focus on teaching, because I was doing that already for a couple years, kind of like simultaneously to living the artist life. And I just loved that so much more. It gave me so much more joy to work one-on-one with people than being on stage, right? Their success made me happier than my own success in my own music. And so that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to, pour my energy into that now. And then from there, I saw for me personally, like personal success, just so much more than with my own music that I created, just more personal happiness. And so I can very much relate to what you were saying. I went through the same thing.
Yeah. We went through the same thing. And I think it's fascinating too that I'll use language, like, just for your audience to know, I'll use language like universe or spirit or something like that, but that does not necessarily mean God. It's just a general term for something larger than us. So just to talk to that briefly before I start to kind of dive into energetics and how that all works. But yeah, if you have any kind of religious, association with that, or, any kind of trauma related to that, or you're atheist, that's fine. It's just when I speak about universe, I just mean something larger, and that can be different for every single person. It could just be nature if you want. But I basically found that universe, in a sense, or this larger thing that we're connected to, more or less will help bring forward the thing that seems to be a little easier to digest first, as the thing to start to examine patterns with. And when I say patterns, I mean, where are we actually operating on subconscious programming that is kind of buried in, that we are not really recognizing? And how is that affecting our behavior? That's then affecting our life and our decisions. And I'm going to talk about here a little bit of this neural rewiring and how that's really the way to get a hold of the things you actually want. And if you find yourself welcoming in the same things that you don't really want over and over again, there comes a point again in your mid to late 20s where you're like, maybe it's me. But what I'm going to talk about here, this neural rewiring, is going to be the thing that actually gets your brain, your nervous system, and your body all on board so that you're actually making decisions the way that you want to be. If you've been chasing your dreams and you still feel stuck, exhausted, or secretly wondering if you missed your shot, it's not your talent. It's your subconscious wiring and your nervous system. That's why I created the Singer's Path Inner Circle, which is an exclusive membership that gives you access to career counseling, to live calls, to exclusive content, and the very special Spotlight System program that we built with a therapist using real neuroscience and nervous system regulation tools. You'll heal the blocks that kill your momentum, your money story, stage fright, fear of being seen, and finally create from confidence, not chaos. And right now, if you take advantage of this founding member launch that's only happening until January 7th, you can get in for less than $2 a day. That is less than a subway ride, guys. And that rate, if you get it while this founding membership thing is going on, you get to lock it in forever, even if the price goes up later. No, if you join before January 7th, 2026, you get to keep that rate forever. Doors open Thanksgiving, unless you're listening to this and I decided to release it earlier. So let's make 2026 the year you stop surviving your dream and you finally live it. Details are in the link in the show notes, or go to sarahbishopvocalstudio.com to check it out, and I'll see you in there. To your point, this relationship thing, how for both of us, that happened first. I think it's very interesting that I think universe, again, will invite the thing that needs to be looked at that's a little easier. So you almost gain trust in yourself that, hey, if I can do this hard thing, I can do other hard things, right? And actually, my relationship, my marriage, I was a fucking mess, okay? In my 20s, it was fucking bad, all right? I could not even attract a person to be with for the fucking life of me. And that, again, was because I was operating on like, I don't deserve love, right? And there are things that happened in my youth and, you know, whatever, where I just kept attracting partners that would just treat me like shit. And, you know, at a certain point, it was like, well, I could either blame all men. Okay, that's very helpful. Or I could go, hey, I know there's other good men because I've seen them and I'm friends with them. So what the fuck? Yeah. And then I had to be like, yeah, it's me. I'm doing something where I'm choosing that over and over. Why? And that's where I actually, I started to work on with another creator, another program called To Be Magnetic with Lacey Phillips, which is, it really helped me a lot. Although, again, a reason why I'm kind of creating my own basically neural rewiring thing is there's a couple things that I disagreed with that I wanted to improve for artists in particular. But that was kind of the introductory of being like, oh shit, like this is how this works. And with that, I was able to get really real with the fact that, again, I was the common denominator. Notice how I was acting like a doormat, and that if I wanted to be the wife and welcome in my soulmate, I probably shouldn't fucking act like a doormat anymore. And I basically reprogrammed my own mind using hypnosis and then doing action steps, like actual fucking action steps of saying no a lot to behaviors that I would have previously said yes to. And over time, it actually got harder and harder and harder. Like the men got hotter and hotter and sneakier. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was like universe is going like, hey, I know you want this and you're doing so good. Are you sure? And they'd like give like a really hot, like really fucking, I mean, model level hot. Like, why are you attracted to me hot? But then they would be like, hey babe, like da da da. And I'd have to be like, are you going to take me on a date though? And they'd be like, nah, man, like what? And I'd be like, no, it's a test. Get out. No. And I have to say no to them too. And then finally, this is also crazy. But I actually, what you're talking about at COVID, it was the moment where I actually had an opportunity to go back to New York. And this was where the programming around this dream situation that I was talking about needed to loosen. Because it was still COVID, Broadway was still shut down, but I had a choice. Was I going to continue to operate in the desperation energy of, I need this to happen, it has to happen this way, or was I going to just soften And was I going to literally just ask my intuition and ask my body? Now, as anxious people or people with OCD or people like I know a lot of artists who are neurodivergent. We have really crazy minds. We got a lot going on. So even developing the relationship with understanding your intuition versus anxiety is like a whole skill in of itself. But I had been practicing this by doing what I was telling you, was just reprogramming my own mind, relaxing my nervous system. I was spending quite a lot of time in nature, and really dipping into like, what is this element of me that I know I'm capable of doing, which is just listening to my intuition, because I'd done it before. Yeah. That was also what made it crazy. I was like, I know I'm one magical bitch. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why is this not working?
Yeah.
You know? So when I did that and I finally got honest with myself about this like quote unquote opportunity, I was basically like asked to come back and work at something. But my gut, I finally learned to listen to it, and I was regulated enough and clear enough on the actual things that I wanted that it was like, I basically had like, it sounds nuts, but it's true. I had like this, like, that's so Raven level fucking like meditation where I was like kind of, sitting within myself and got quiet. And I was like, I just asked, I was like, hey, am I supposed to like go back to New York right now? It was wild, because it almost like universe or whatever you want to call it, my higher self, whatever. It showed what would happen if I went back to New York. It was basically like a cul-de-sac. It was like, all right, you can go. You're going to end up here again, but you can do that if you want. If you stay in Pennsylvania, buttfuck nowhere, Pennsylvania, which at that time, right, it was like I wanted to be anywhere but there, right? I wanted to be pursuing my dream in New York. They're like, if you just chill the fuck here for a second. They showed me, or whatever, I saw this huge tree planting its roots down into the ground. And it was basically like, it's going to be the foundation of your life. It like makes me emotional. It's like, it makes me emotional. Like, if you stay, this is what's for you. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I guess the tree then. So yeah. And then I, that was actually a huge decision for me at the time to take an action step that was against that fear programming that I had been operating on for so long.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of this meditation of sorts and being like, holy shit, now I'm going to meet my husband. Like, I just knew. I like really? Cognitively knew.
Wow.
And then I went into the kitchen. I remember going into the kitchen. I was like, I'm going to meet my husband, I think, to my mom. And she was like, okay. And then I kid you the fuck not, like 2 days later, I met Kyle.
No way.
I did.
Goosebumps. Yeah. I have goosebumps everywhere.
Goosebumps. It's crazy. But that's how I met him. And I was like, oh, shit. And like, I finally, after all of that work of rewiring my brain and saying yes and to the things that I actually wanted, that I deserved, and that I knew was the person I wanted to be, I started acting like that kind of person that I wanted to be, because my brain and my system was on board. And that's finally when I actually like attracted my husband in. It was wild. And then I started the podcast, which led me to Emily Morris, that led me to my teaching business, which then, I ended up doing some other acting stuff too, but like it really did form my whole life, because I finally started wiring my brain to work with me and being radically honest with myself with what wasn't fucking working, and valuing myself over any particular fucking thing that I thought was going to give me what I actually wanted, versus like, again, truly sitting with myself, allowing myself the grief, allowing myself the space to be like, what if it gets to be different for me? And then when I learned how to do that, which I hope to teach other artists here, we can talk about that thing here in a second. But when I learned to do that, that's when my life completely shifted.
That is so amazing. And like I said, like I got goosebumps. this is so cool. I love it. Also, like I just told you right before we started rolling cameras, like I just came back from our retreat in Mexico where we were singing, and it was just a whole week of just crying and emotion. Like, cause like people singing in front of somebody else for the first time. And so I'm still very much in this emotional state. So oh, one of these days, I hope to have a day where I'm like, just let me not cry for a day, please.
No, but crying's great. It's like the shower of the soul.
It's the shower of the soul.
Refresh.
I love it. I love it. And so here's the thing, right? Like, I feel like especially in the performance world, in the music world, whether it's musical theater or pop singer or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all like, the younger you are, the better. Like, you better hustle early, and like go, because when you're 23, you're done. Like, you're too old now. And so, you know, like you saying, like, I just took my time and I stayed here and I didn't run. That was the thing that was literally the game changer for you. I think that's so brave, because it goes against everything that you hear other people in the industry, in quotes, you know, telling everybody, like, no, the younger the better, and like go, don't stop.
Well, that's the horse race part of it all.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you know, the paradox that exists for artists who need to be so soft and introspective and still and move with such dignity and intuition. That is a necessary part of being a creative. And we're actually so capable of doing that. And yet we're operating within a capitalistic thing that has an agenda, that has a schedule, that has a way of doing things, a way of making money. And so that's why, you know, for me, honestly, I think it just got so deafening and so uncomfortable and so viscerally, like, I couldn't bear it anymore. That's really the reason that I had no other choice. It was, I could continue. I had been shown too much. Once I realized that I actually could take control of my own narrative, I could no longer operate in the victim mindset of, this is happening to me. It became, well, I don't have control over how everything comes in, and nor should I, because if I let go of control, it comes in happening a lot better than I could have expected. But I also do have control over my outlook of things. I can reprogram my own narrative. I can practice operating in a new way. And I ultimately do have control over the actions that I take in my own life. So, you know, I think that's ultimately why it shifted so much, was because I feel like I was being led to, like, I couldn't stand operating in such dissonance anymore. And that's another reason why I created this, because I know so many people are like this. They feel this dissonance. They don't know what to do about it. And that doesn't necessarily mean they should stop doing their dream. It's just about learning to operate and have integrity and follow their own desires and the original dream, and get back to that without the noise of the industry that they're in stealing that from them. Right? Them reclaiming their ability to hold their joy and thus their softness in their creativity without feeling like they're a victim to the cycle, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about, like, the singer's path and, like, the inner circle that you have there as well, for, like, people that want to, you know, get out of these vicious cycles.
Yeah, of course. So the Singer's Path Inner Circle is a membership that I've created that includes a couple different things. The Inner Circle, in a sense, is a community in which artists can come together through this process so that they can help support each other. But the best part of the Inner Circle that exists is a program that's called the Spotlight System, which is part of the membership you get, right? With the membership, you get 2 live calls to work through the things that are being brought up in the Spotlight System. And we're also doing some, like, industry strategy things. There's going to be just, like, a plethora of topics. It's basically like a really intense, high focus, high value access to industry professionals. And that, I know there's some people that love the strategy element and they want the extra help with the headshots or the branding or the yes, that is going to be in there. And there's also professionals that are going to be brought in that are going to help hold you through the inner work as you start to guide yourself through these deeper issues that exist in the Spotlight System. So you have to be part of the Inner Circle membership to have access to the Spotlight System. The Spotlight System is essentially the neural rewiring program that takes issues that many artists deal with in multiple platforms. It doesn't really matter your art, but it helps you get clear on any of the subconscious narratives that are going around that are kind of entangled in your art, how you can free that subconscious narrative, take control over it, and rewire, right? If you think about your brain as like a computer, right? Sometimes there's like glitches and old things that need upgraded that you're still operating on. And basically anything that we have come into our world on the outside is actually a result of our subconscious wiring. And that's why like affirmations don't really fucking work that well without some kind of other brain state to be in, because you could stare at yourself in the mirror and go, I am beautiful. But if you keep doing that actually that kind of means that there's some part of you that doesn't actually believe that, right? So the subconscious is a little finicky little bitch. So we have to figure out a way to get really clear, really still, and understand why our life has kind of ended up in this place that we're currently in based off of the decisions we've made. Well, it's probably because there's a subconscious program. There's a computer program that's outdated. So you have to look at that. And then the way to reprogram it, and this is where this goes deeper and is why I've been in such integrity and hopefulness that this is going to help hold people and feel even more safe through doing this, not just like the typical manifest your dreams. It's like, no, another deep element to it is the nervous system and the trauma informed of it all, right? The nervous system regulation, because the other tricky part is you could be rewiring this narrative. And you could be like putting in a new program via hypnosis, which is a lot of which exists in the spotlight system. But if your nervous system and your body freak the fuck out, right, there's this element as well that it's going to push away and not really take aligned action if you don't feel safe, right? If your nervous system isn't also on board. So this whole system operates in mind that this kind of mental and emotional support in addition to the nervous system support. And that's why it's brilliant, because it's bringing in, I basically hired therapists, healers, somatic practitioners, everyone that specializes in this to create this, to hold artists in as much integrity and as care as possible. Now, one thing to note, just because I have therapists and practitioners that have come into development does not mean that they're your therapists, right? This is a designed system that will help you usher yourself through these discoveries. But anyway, so there's this reprogramming that happens, there's this regulation that happens, and then it shows you what kind of action that you intuitively would need to take that makes sense for you. So any artist listening to this can do what we've done and get still and understand what is your right action. What is the thing that's actually going to bring in the things that you actually want in, right? How do we get clear on all of the noise? How do we still operate even within a system without losing ourselves within that system? And again, there's basically 10 programs that exist within this that we'll be cycling through and massaging. That's why it's a membership. This is something that is going to take a lot of, it takes time to be with yourself and to, deepen each layer. But it's still simple and straightforward. So I don't want people to think like, this sounds like a lot. Like,
yeah.
Like, no, you're just learning how to be with yourself, really, so that you can actually get the things you actually want and not fucking push them away. Yeah. So the different programs are, there's first a prep program, because there's probably a lot of people here that you hear hypnosis. They're like, mind control? No, I don't want that. Yeah. Mind control's terrible. No. You're always in control of yourself. It's just a way to get your brain into a better subconscious state so that you can, unveil what's happening and put in what you need to happen, right? So there's a prep work that goes into it. Then there's guys, you're going to freak the fuck out. There's one on stage fright and performance anxiety. So anyone that struggles with that element and like feeling like you leave your body, you're going to learn professional ways to help hold yourself through that and learn how to, that quote unquote, truly believe in yourself without like fucking freaking out, right? There's a money story for artists. To untangle the starving artist mentality, learn how to kind of do what we've done, which is basically leverage your skills and develop a better relationship with money. Because the hard truth is you need money to create your art. Hate to say, And eating the rich, yeah, listen, we don't necessarily like billionaires and all that, but like you need money, and hating rich people doesn't help you. Okay, just saying. There's a fame and visibility. So the people that want to be seen, they want to grow their followers. Like, I think this is a very common trope. Like, actors will be like, well, I want to have my visibility because of the project that I'm in, and then I want to have a million followers from that. And it's like, girlfriend, until you're ready to be seen and advocate for yourself and step up in that, you're kind of pushing away the thing. Why the fuck would universe just hand you that visibility if your system and your mind is actually subconsciously pushing it away because it doesn't feel safe? And I think a lot of people go, well, I'm not afraid of being visible. And I'm like, well, you would be. You would be visible if you weren't afraid, just so you're saying. Just to say.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm truth Brahmin here. There's artist manifestation. So there is the manifesting element of like, but I want my Broadway dreams to come true. Okay, that's in there. And there's a lot of other things that are going to be helpful so that actually happens. Again, so that you're not accidentally, subconsciously mind fucking yourself. There's trust in letting go. And this would be great for me. Actually, I'm working through this right now. And this would be a really good one for you, Laura, with the grief around it all and that surrendering to, the narrative that are for you and like saying yes to the things that are for you. And truly, like, what is that difference of like grieving the thing that didn't go your way that you wanted and picking yourself up? Like, I think that's, again, like these famous artist tropes of like, just believe in yourself and like deal with the rejection, but like no one's fucking actually helping you do that. So this is what's actually teaching your brain how to handle it and your body. We got artist self-worth. This will be huge for you, Laura. How many of your singers that you teach, maybe even at this retreat, maybe why there was such emotional clearing, have such complex relationships with their voice, with their body, with their decision to become singers, the guilt, maybe their parents didn't want them to become singers and they are struggling with that and they don't realize how that's affecting them, right? So this is the program that really helps us as voice teachers actually, because it invites the artists to emotionally clear a lot of the blocks that they have energetically around their voice. Just as a voice teacher to voice teacher, how many students do you have come into your studio who more often than not have that kind of energetic or mental block that's actually stopping them from singing the way they want to?
Like 95% of people that come in. Like almost everyone. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Almost everyone.
No, literally.
And the better you get, like, the more mindfuckery happens.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, yeah, like, and it's... So that will have emotional clearing around the voice. Again, we do have to be careful, especially with our dancers and around, body and body image can be, I feel like there does need to be some kind of support for people, especially fitting, again, physical industry standards and molds. So there's a whole thing on appearance, on body, reclaiming power over your vessel. And again, the whole purpose of this is to get artists to operate wholly within themselves, regardless of a system, so that they can continue to show up as they actually desire and not get caught in the machine. And then finally, there's a reactivating creative play. So it's, like I said, it's basically like takes themes that might be explored in the artist's way, but it amplifies them beyond the morning pages, beyond, any of the brilliance that Julia Cameron has. It's kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, that is such a beautiful program. And I think there are other things that could be deepened and easier to get new programming in, again, via hypnosis and audio tracks and other exercises. So reactivating creative play is getting that creative child on board and getting that joy going. It's brilliant. And finally, there's shadow and shame and self-compassion and inner child. So helping to learn how to care for yourself through these ups and downs. So yeah, it's pretty, it's really going to hold a lot of people.
Yeah, you have everything in there. So like, help me understand how, like, if I sign up for this, like, what can I expect? Because like you said, it's a membership. I understand that part of it, but is it like I'm doing all 10 of these things like as quickly as possible and then again and again and again? Or how does it work?
Yeah. Well, I always recommend, and like I was watching some of your videos, Laura, and you say this too, this is meant to be done over time. So there is a suggested order that it's delivered in, just to get you familiar with the work. But again, it's an ongoing process of learning to hold yourself at a deeper level, to be able to navigate the things that very intensely exist for artists everywhere, right? So it's not something that's just blasted through and then I'm fixed, right? It's something that, again, the membership is also creating community. So it's like you work through one program at a time. I think some of the programs would even take, it just depends on the person, but to really get the rewiring happening, it's going to take a couple months of repetition. So again, when you sign up for this, the work will be very streamlined. It's very simple, step to step, do this, do this, do this, right? But it's a continuation that happens. So yeah, basically when you get the membership, you'll have access to 2 calls a month. There'll be different pages where you can interact with other artists and share your art and support each other. And then everybody gets access to the course of the Spotlight system that you work through at your own pace. But we will also support you in the themes and the calls and what we're talking about so that you can be more clearly guided. We'll probably also run like challenges and stuff like, and this is not official, I don't know what we're doing yet, but like in April, we're doing a full like creative play. And so, here's the challenges for like, hey, show your art. Or, in May, we're doing a whole stage fright situation where we're going to bring in an expert and he's going to talk about it and everybody's working through that together. So it's basically self-paced and it's also very clear. Like it's not going to, it is a lot of information, but it's not going to overwhelm anyone because they're just going to go one thing at a time. What do you need? Go to that. What's the thing weighing on you? Go to that. You know what I'm saying? So we all have these come up. So that's why they're there, but it's not like just blast through it like that. No.
Yeah.
If you're having stage fright, do the stage fright one.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm like one of these people, like I hate working out because I know that I will have to do it again and again and again and again to maintain what I did. And I'm like, why can't I just like go really hard for like a couple months and then I'm good, right? Like, why do I have to upkeep it? Why do I have to work so hard? But that's just like what all good things in life really require, it sounds like, right? Like even with the rewiring, it's not like you do it once and you're good forever. It's just kind of like you gotta keep it up.
Yeah, and again, it's more like you'll build a routine. When I've done this for myself, yes, there's lessons, you work through them, the first time if you decide to join this membership and, you're working through the system and, again, we have a recommended order so that it works at a deeper level. But like once you go through them and you're like, hey, this really worked. This one wasn't as much for me. This one really worked. You can, again, pick and choose. And then it'll just come down to the brilliant hypnosis tracks that my sister, who's a therapist, is the one that designed these. They're so good. Then you'll just, all you really need to do is like, I'm just going to repeat this thing, right? That's the repetition so that it doesn't become like, this is so much work. Like, no, it's okay. I know we always get overwhelmed and it's like, it's like, all you got to do, babe, is show up for 15 minutes and listen to the track, right? Take that time as self-care, as self-love is like, hey, and this is, I tell my husband this all the time. If I don't do my like hour routine of this at the beginning of the day, it's like a gym routine. It's like just part of taking care of yourself, but it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to take a long time. It's just about showing up in repetition. Yeah. So for your workout, Laura, maybe making it manageable so it's more enjoyable. Actually, wait. Low key, if you actually do, there's some of these that are designed, especially like the money and the manifestation and the more fun ones that are a little bit more active. If you listen to them while you work out, this actually fucking happened to me. I kid you the fuck not. I made some of these for like, I've tested this for years. Like this has completely transformed my life. That's why I know it works. But part of it was like when I was especially doing money and like working in a business, because we all know like having a business will show you all your money shit. Yeah. It shows you so much shit. You have to learn about yourself when you have a business. I would multitask and I would listen to these tracks that I was making for myself based off of what I had learned while I was working out. And I started fucking loving working out because my brain started associating working out with like being in this zone of abundance and joy and belief. And so you can actually, this will help the people that, again, I'll call them crazy brains because I'm fucking like that too, yo. It's like, that seems hard, that seems a lot, and I can't get it. No, we can layer. And so for you, Lara, doing something like the money thing or the manifestation, or there's actually a free version for people if they want to just toe dip and just get an understanding of like, what the fuck is this about? It's called the Abundant Artist audio series, and it's free, and we're probably going to add to it a little bit, but one of the tracks is called Performer Glow. If you fucking listen to Performer Glow while you pumping some iron, girl, you're going to, first of all, it turns your light on so much that like people start to be like, it's like the Marilyn Monroe effect of it all. And I know this because I've done it, but also I've had friends who are on Broadway who use it a lot. They love them, by the way. My Broadway friends like use them all the fucking time. They use them before auditions. They use them on the train. And then like my one friend was on the train and she used Performer Glow. And she noticed everyone started looking at her and like someone came up and complimented her. Because again, it's like you're harnessing your brain and your energy and how you carry yourself and you act, right? We're rehearsing for the success you want. So if you did, again, Performer Glow out the gym, you might be getting some compliments, Lara, and then you'll feel really good and then you'll want to go to the gym. Again, rewiring, reprogramming.
Okay, let's go.
Okay,
let's go, baby.
Go. You're like, okay, let's fucking go. Okay, let's fucking go. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's also not, because here's the thing. You're doing this anyway. I think that's what people need to realize. Your crazy brain is already doing this shit. It's already running on narratives that you just don't know about.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the place you want to be, and you know there's an option, what if you could believe that if this piece was figured out and you could get your brain and your body on board after all of this training that you've had for yourself, after all of this time and commitment you've put into your art, if you knew 100% if this was the actual missing piece, and this is why you still are struggling for more and it never feels like it's enough and you're unhappy in your dream, why the fuck would you not do it? You know what I mean? Because it's like, it did feel like that for a long time. Like, what is the missing piece? Like, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, this is it. The inner work is just as important as the outer work.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're so right. Ooh, and I'm excited about it. I'm like, Sarah, let's go, baby. And I just, like, as a voice teacher, right? Like, I mean, obviously it's going to help with the business aspect of it, right? But also, like, getting all of these tools from you is going to help me help my students too, right? So it's just like, if you're listening and you're a voice teacher, it's like, you're stupid if you don't do it. It sounds like.
Yeah, kind of. Listen, you do you, but like you're going to end up at a place where you're on the floor like we all were, okay? I don't know what to tell you. And I think it's interesting because I think a lot of artists will hear like manifestation and the secret. Like I think artists they're not strangers to that. Mm-hmm. But if you're trying to, say affirmations and do it and it's not clicking, right? Or there's quite a deal of dissonance in, I just keep telling myself it's going to happen, but there's part of me that doesn't believe it, right? Yeah. And I think we can all be honest with ourselves. Why isn't it working? If I was told that manifestation was going to work, why isn't it? Well, it's because the whole operating system isn't quite on board. So with that, if you're a teacher, right, this will completely help you reclaim. I think with teachers particularly, we lose track of our own art and our own joy, which is part of the reason why I'm working with you, Lara. I'm doing the songwriter cohort because, again, in integrity, I can't be like charging people to be reclaiming their creativity and owning themselves as artists and taking power back and not fucking do it myself, because that would make me a shyster, and I'm not about that shit.
Yeah,
I ain't about that shit. I gotta be doing it just as much as you. This has actually been a very vulnerable thing. I think that's why I've not released it for so many years, because I'm in it just as much as everyone else is. Mm-hmm. But I think it needs to happen. There needs to be something for creatives to take their power back beyond even, and again, I love the artist way. I think it is brilliant. I think there are other resources that have been brilliant, but nothing that's been so focused on the specifics and done in a way that, again, we can try, I'm not just about to like pull this out of my ass, right? It's like, no, this is sensitive shit. Like, this is important that this is held with care and integrity. And so bringing people on that I trust, that I know are going to have a deep effect for people, was a really important part of the creation of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to dive in. Is it open for enrollment? Can I enroll?
Yes. Well, at the time of this podcast, yes, it is. We're doing it early. So I'm like, is it? I don't know. Yes, it is. Actually, it's a holiday thing going on. So because it's the founder members that I'm doing, it's going to be this crazy. If I still have the same marketing plan as I did before, which I'm pretty sure that I am actively doing this crazy marketing, it's all about unhinged holiday, because that's how we are operating. We're fun and happy, and we're a little complex on the inside. You know what I mean? So this holiday sale is basically the founders members rate for this membership. And so it won't be this low again. And if you get the annual option, I think it's, again, the pricing is being set at this current time, but I believe it's under $2 a day. Like, it's low as hell.
Yeah.
Like, guys, an avocado costs more than that. Yeah. Okay. I want to just say here for a second, and I'm going to speak to the money thing. If your money story is getting flared up and you're going, oh my God, okay. I want you to sit with yourself for a second and understand what are the costs of not stepping into holding yourself through these things anymore. Like, how much longer are you really willing to be on the floor in the shit of it, right? And if there is an opportunity to help take ownership of your own narrative, and again, kind of get out of the victim mindset of it all. Because I know y'all are smart and y'all have creative minds that are fucking magic. But the problem is you can mind fuck yourself in the other direction just as powerfully as you can mind fuck yourself in a positive way. So just understand, y'all be buying $7 lattes and shit, okay, on the daily, right? If there was really a way for you to overcome and take control of these narratives, right? Just sit with it for a second, because this founder membership only exists at this time. Like, this is it. Like, this, I really want to attract the people that are really drawn to it, because I think the people that it's meant for will find it. And just so you know, if you don't want to get the annual membership, even though it's like less than fucking $2 a day, y'all, it's fucking cheap, okay? Even if it's less than that, you can always, if the money noise is like, I don't know, because I know there's uncertainty of like, when's my next gig? What's happening? I don't know. This program is going to help create safety around that, just so you know. Mm-hmm. And there's a month-to-month option too. So if it's like, I just want to try, I'm not really sure, it's like, that's okay. That's all right. You can do month-to-month and you can cancel, and then it's fine. Right. So those are the options for people, Laura, and those will be listed below. Hopefully maybe we can link them in the show notes or something. That'd be awesome. If they're this creative that they can literally make something out of fucking nothing, why the fuck would their life be any different? Why the fuck, if they're that powerful that they can see it in their art, they can write songs, they can make music that is literally like God-given, channeled, priceless. Why wouldn't they be able to use that same power in a way that helps them in other areas of their life? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to be doing.
Wow. Ooh, I'm excited to level up. Because, for me, it's always like, because, I just came back from this retreat, right? And Grant was like, how did it go? And I was like, yeah, it was great. Next time we're going to go to Bali. And he was like, what?
Oh, shit. Oh shit! I want to go to Bali.
I was like the next thing. I'm so like, I just want to get better and do more and make more money, help more people, have more fun, be happier, eat better, like just more. I just always, and maybe it's a little unhealthy, but also like I'm just excited about leveling up and doing the next thing. So
leveling up. And you know what's also beautiful about it, and this is why, again, we've brought on some fucking rock star people, and why I just know with my whole heart this is so solid, because I've done it and it works, because I am a living, walking testimonial of this. But what's cool, when I was kind of briefly talking about the grief and sitting with yourself, what happened in the system, like, yes, we want more and we want all of these things and we're pumped, and all of that is a fuck yes. And the more that we learn to sit in the stillness of it, the more clear these intuitive hits get, the more we can still the mind of, you know, I feel you, because sometimes my intuitive hits with my business are like, boom, 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 boom. Like I got all of these dropped in, like my entire coursework and something like that. I didn't even know what the fuck was going to be, but it dropped in when I was on a walk once, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like I got like my entire fucking storefront, like pinged to me. And it just depends person to person. This will also help you not just have the things happen, level up, but be present for the joy of them. And I think that's a big thing that I had to learn. And I actually practiced for my wedding day. I kid you the fuck not. When I got engaged, this is why I talk, the nervous system piece is missing from a lot of these elements that I've explored, is because, yeah, the big thing might come true, and you could blast off into space and leave your body and not remember anything, because your nervous system isn't on board. And even though it's like a flow of dopamine, like when I got engaged, my eyes went bloodshot, and I went, because my system quite literally was not used to being in that much joy and gratitude. I know it sounds crazy, but it literally wasn't. So much to the point, the PA came up to me. I got engaged during a show. The PA came up to me and was like, "Did you hit the pen?" And I was like, "No." But I was talking like, I'm just so happy, because my system wasn't primed. That's what I mean. Yeah. And so what do you think fucking happens to these stars? We see it over and over again. These stars that have success before their systems are able to handle it. That's why I'm saying we're prepping you, your mind, your body, your system for success. We're putting in the programming of success. We're teaching your body to act as if it's happening, but not from some bullshit affirmation place. No, fully. Mm-hmm. So that when you go viral, you don't fucking leave your body. That happened to me. Did that happen to you the first time you went viral? I was like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck? Did that happen to you?
No, because I was already meant to be a star.
So you're already prepped. So you're already a star. Well, it's different. It's different person to person. That's what I mean. But like, I'm an example of someone that I had to work with my system to prepare to hold it. Because when we don't prepare to hold it, and you don't do this inner work, and you don't teach your brain and your system to be on board, that's when we sabotage it. That's when we push it away. And that's when we keep operating on shit that's actually preventing us from having the dream come in.
You know, like, and then we'll wrap this up. But because I'm just using you as
okay.
my therapist right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
The thing for me is, because talking about going viral, right? Like, I was like, yeah, I have the most viewed video under like the vocal coach hashtag. Not anymore. I used to, like, that was pre Cheryl Porter. Not pre, but it was before she just like exploded, right? But it was in 2021. And so anyways, you know, I had like 20 million views, and that was like the most viewed video under hashtag vocal coach. And I was like, yeah, I was so happy. But then, you know, eventually like that started coming down, and like I didn't have another video go viral. And it's been years at this point since I've had a video go viral. I barely get views on my stuff now. And
that's also, you know, TikTok and Instagram are all
fucked up,
yeah.
But I let that mess with my brain, where it's like, why am I working so goddamn hard? Nobody sees this shit anyways, right? Like, why even bother? And for me, I'm very much a result driven person. If I get the results, if I have a video go viral, if I have new students coming in, I'm selling a new thing, I'm doing the retreat, right? Whatever it is, when I'm getting the results from it, I'm super excited, and I'm like, let's freaking go. But when I'm putting in the work and I'm not seeing the results, or at least like not immediately, I feel so down. And then I'm like, maybe it's just time for me to have kids. and just and just do the next thing. And I might be a little dramatic saying that, but like,
no,
would this program help me to detach a little bit from being so result dependent?
Yes. So the programs that come up for me are the artist self-worth would be good around soul mission. So remembering what the actual point is of, is it really to get the millions of likes and the validation, right? Validation is something that is going to be peeled back through many, many elements. But the deeper work for you, Laura, in order to understand like kind of why am I doing it this way? Why am I working so hard? The programs of shadow and shame and self-compassion are going to be the ones that really point. That's why when the system is laid out and we have a suggested order, when you work through it the first time, that's where you're going to want to start, because that's going to teach your system to go deep enough and just ask kind of the question, like, what am I really going for here? Like, what is this loop where I feel I'm chasing? And that's going to be something you're going to have to kind of uncover for yourself, right? Again, it's an invitation for you to learn more about what's happening in your own inner world. And at the same time, like hearing energetics, I know a lot of the people who, I mean, again, I'm not going to project onto you. I don't know. You're going to have to find out. But I also know a lot of people, when I was doing that, it was really out of an avoidance to sit with actually seeing myself fully, right? I had a lot of things around fixing. I need to fix it to be perfect. I need this to be this, And listen, there might be some of you that are listening to this episode and you're going like, oh, I have feelings I need to fix. The thing is, it's the plot isn't about fixing something flawed in you. It's you acknowledging and seeing yourself and accepting that you can be here and be present and be okay with that, so that you can hold yourself through the roller coaster and through the waves. So for you, I feel like there needs to be more and more and more. And yes, sometimes that is intuition, because I feel like you have quite a huge following and you're helping a lot of people. So you have a lot of soul contracts with a lot of people. So there's a fire under your ass to make more things for people. And paradoxically, is there an element of Laura that feels like she needs to do this in order to be enough or to be seen or to finally feel a certain way? A big thing that's explored in the system is that more often than not, with manifestations or goals or things we have, what we truly desire is actually a feeling, a state of being, not a thing. We believe the thing will give us a feeling. We believe if we book Broadway, I will finally feel successful. And that's the hard part about the whole thing, and why there's no fucking support, is because what do you do when you realize that any particular thing isn't going to fix or solve that issue? And that's what I mean. This is the program that shows you how to truly, truly love and see yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's scary as fuck, but it sounds great.
It is. But listen, that's why it's a community. Mm-hmm. That's why there's people on calls. I have a mission. I'm not sure when this will happen. I probably shouldn't talk about this, but I would love to make the people who helped the creation of the program available to people to possibly work privately. That has not worked out yet, especially at the time that this is released. But to get that additional support, I just feel the artists are some of the people that are going to move the world in the direction that we need to move right now. Artists are being called forward in almost in a way that healers are being called forward. That's where true transformation in the world comes from, is how art is reflecting back reality to itself. And if you're an artist listening to this and you're like, fuck, like I know my art is good, but I'm like scared as fuck to do that. That sounds intense. Well, okay, but it's also your job as an artist to create. And if you're stopping yourself from creating, why wouldn't you take that opportunity to help yourself, right? So if it feels intimidating, there are calls, there are communities that will exist within this that, again, there'll be challenges. People will be there to see you and hold you through it. And this is trauma-informed work. This is not some bullshit like just think positive fucking like you're going to be left to hang. Okay, yeah. Dry, right? Yeah. You're not going to be left to like high and dry here, okay? Like it was very purposefully crafted. So it is a brave thing to do, but it's also a necessary thing to do, especially if you believe, which I believe you are, Laura, a leader and someone that has star quality and potential and has things that are being seen and exist in the world. But you are. Like, look at you. If you have the platform, right? If you have the desire and you have the dream, this is the step that not only helps you enjoy it, but helps it happen for you at a level that you can actually witness it and enjoy it.
Yes. Okay, I see 2026 is going to be the year where I pour into myself so I can pour more into others too. I love it. Let's do it. Links are below.
Hell yeah, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. And again, it doesn't have to be heavy. It can still be, I mean, listen to me. Like, anything I do is going to be delightful and weird, right?
Yeah.
So we don't, again, when we're holding each other through this, if there's fear and there's resistance, that's just another sign that maybe it's something that you're being invited to, right? No one's going to make you do it. But if you're really ready to pour into yourself so that you can help other people with your art, with your leadership, with your business, with your students, whatever the fuck it is, this is it. And I feel like the artists, we just need a little support.
Yeah.
Just need a little guidance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, we need to host a retreat together.
I would fucking love that. I'm actually in the process of, like, as this grows, I would love to do retreats. I've also taught at other retreats, so I fucking
amazing because, like, especially with this work that you're doing here, like, it's perfect for like an in-person, in the group kind of setting. I think that would be so powerful, and I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I would love. I really hope that you join the inner circle.
Oh,
I
100%.
think there's going to be programs in there that also help usher in, like, again, the singer unblocking voice, which exists within the artist's self-worth. That in itself is a whole workshop that I've taught multiple times and can be really, I mean, again, it's not really me. It's just the understanding, combining energetics and spirituality and fucking neuroscience to do those unblocking in the voice. Like, that by itself is worth the membership, guys. This is gonna hold you so securely.
Yeah.
We got you a life raft finally.
Yeah.
We've been fucking drowning out here. Like, someone fucking send me a hoop here.
Yeah.
This is it. I would love to co-create with you.
I'm
a retreat
so
setting.
excited. I'm
Bali, baby.
Girl, are you free in February? Let's go.
Is it this year? You're doing it in February this year?
I don't know yet. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, I will know, but we're serious. Yeah.
I feel like I piss off my agents because every February I go and live my fucking life, which has been part of the reprogramming of it all. I'm like, yeah, the right thing will find me. Thank you. I'm going to go skiing. I go and I teach at retreats in Costa Rica. My dear friend, Jessie Marino, who is part of Wild Essence, she's one of the brilliant somatic healers who has inspired this, and I hope to invite to be a speaker. But she has a just gorgeous retreat called Hedonism Retreat. Oh my God. And she's also they just got some land and they're going to be building on the land down there, and they're hosting art festivals, and it's going to be a whole thing. I'm just so excited to see what this next chapter brings, but I do piss off my agents when I leave in February because that's audition season. So sorry, David.
Like, why do they do that? Because February is like the most miserable month in New York. Like,
just
why?
Another paradoxical mindfuck of, again, our softness. If you think about it in witchcraft and spirituality as well, or just fucking nature, everything is in hibernation.
Yeah.
It's a time of slowness, of dark. When we couldn't work the fields, you would be inside tending to the fire, making fucking soups, right? Like, we're not supposed to be fucking grinding.
Yeah.
But it's a perfect time for a retreat. It's a perfect time for stillness. But, as I'm untangling what my journey is and unplugging from certain ways that the industry works that don't serve me and stepping into other things, we'll see. I mean, I hope, I'm saying yes to things that are being invited. So maybe.
Let's talk. And then
Okay.
the links, you will send me the links and I'll put them in the description. So if people want to check it out, you totally should. Come and join me because I will hopefully be on some of these calls too.
I hope so. I would. Yeah. And even, again, we'll have guest speakers as well. So if there's a theme that you feel like you really relate to, someone that has a platform, maybe we can have you come and talk about that and share your wisdom about, again, the overall company is called The Singer's Path. Mm-hmm. The path being, hey, we're showing a way. You're going to be on your own path, but like this should help a bit, right? So there's that. And also remember, I'm going to give the free link as well. So if we're like, hey, I'm not really sure, like, I don't know about this, you can always do the Abundant Artist audio series. That is completely free. And enjoy, see how it does. But just know that this founder pricing is only until, I think, again, the date will be listed below, but I think I had it as like January 6th or something like that, January 7th.
Okay.
So they got a month. 26.
Yeah, they got a month.
They have a month. They got a month. Yeah. This isn't some like Black Friday flash bullshit. No, I want to give you, I need to make sure these people can find this because I just know the people that need it are going to need it.
Wish for it for Christmas, for a year.
Yeah. For a year. And again, guys, you can do the month to month if you're like nervous about it. That's why that's there. Right?
Thank you so
But after
much.
January 7th, it's going to go up. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Sorry. I
don't know if anybody's still listening. I'm still listening. I'm still having a great time. But like, oh my gosh, this was so great. Thank you for giving me goosebumps and for making my tears eye up. my
tears eye up.
My eyes tear up. Much appreciated. Thank you for sharing your energy. You're so fun. And I wish you were my neighbor because I feel like we'd be hanging out all the time because we would have so much fun
every
together.
day. What city are you in again? Are you in
Indianapolis?
Indianapolis. Indianapolis. That's how I said that. Indianapolis. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, anytime you're in New York, hit me up.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Everybody else, check out the links below. Sign up for the free thing. Sign up for the paid thing. Come and join us. I'll be there. I hope to see you in there too. And follow Sarah on Instagram as well. Yeah. It's linked below too. And we'll see you there. All right. Bye.
See ya. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.